You're watching Council Wrap Up. We're here with some of the top news of the Montgomery County Council for the month of June.
But today is about celebrating this important milestone.
July 1st, the day the county's minimum wage hit $15 per hour for companies that employ more than 50 people. It's been a multi-year effort that Montgomery County has been in the forefront of. Officials gathered at the Wheaton Library to celebrate the significance of this occasion.
Countless studies show that this is the right thing to do, not just for the workers, but because it's the right thing for the economy, because the minimum wage raises the standard of living for our poorest residents, and that money goes right back in the local economy at a time when our local economy desperately needs a boost.
This is not just about a dignified wage. It's also about bringing awesome jobs where people can have access to those opportunities and lifting up everybody's dreams.
Along with the $15 per hour wage for large companies, those establishments with fewer than 50 employees will pay $14 per hour, and a small employer with 10 or less employees is required to pay $13.50. County Executive Mark Elrich was a big proponent of the increase while he was on the council.
So what we do with wages is critical to how our society continues to move.
There is a dignity that comes with receiving a wage that covers the basics, that covers food, that covers rent, that covers the ability to have just a little bit of disposable income so that your child can join a sports league.
It is a collective strategy that we have accomplished here in Montgomery County to make sure that no one is left behind and that all boats are lifted.
This is one step that we're commemorating, but it's the next step and the next step and the next step, because it's unacceptable to live here and not be able to sustain yourself and your family.
This step that has been taken is one on a very long journey that we are all traveling together.
Eric Strong is a part-time meat clerk at the Giant in Rockville.
The members that I talk to from that I work with, they're excited, they are thankful, and I want to thank all those that have everything to do with that.
You know, I have 1,300 employees.
Scott Nash is the CEO of Mom's Market. To him, paying good wages makes good business sense.
Paying more money makes me more money to my employees. Training costs go down as people stay longer, morale goes up, and my employees are better, so my customers appreciate that.
And to Nancy Navarro, this is more than a duty to fulfill, it's a responsibility.
And that we will continue to stand up for each other and help each other lift up all the voices and take care of everyone.
Ezekiel was my only child. He was my baby, that also my companion. I miss him very much.
Last fall, 2-year-old Ezekiel Gamezi died when he fell from the third-floor window of his family's apartment building in Tacoma Park. Today, Council President Tom Hucker and County Executive Mark Elrich signed Bill 5120, Ezekiels Law, which aims to prevent these tragic accidents from happening again.
Window falls present a widespread hazard that needed to be addressed. And this is not unique to our county. Each year in the United States, 15 to 20 children under the age of 11 die, and nearly 15,000 are injured because of falls from windows. No parent should have to suffer any loss like Alvine and her family have lived through. These injuries and deaths are easily preventable. The county and our landlords have a fundamental responsibility to ensure our housing code makes children's safety a priority, and this bill will do just that.
This is one of those things that didn't have to happen. There's no reason why this had to happen, and but for the lack of window guards, it wouldn't have happened. And so it's when you know things are preventable, you have an obligation to do something about it.
The law was introduced by Council President Hucker and unanimously approved by the Council in April. It requires landlords and apartment building owners to install window guards in buildings where children younger than 10 live. It applies to all multifamily buildings, and landlords must also provide window guards for any tenant who makes that request.
This continues to build on the work we've been doing for years to protect our tenants and to keep them safe.
As you can imagine, this past month have been very difficult for me and my family. We have high hopes for Ezekiel. He had a brighter future ahead of him. I think of him every day and wonder why this happened. I don't want to see another parent go through what I have gone through since October 11, 2020. That is why I am so pleased that the council passed Ezekiels Law.
The Gaithersburg family wants to see similar legislation passed at the state level. Council President Hooker says he plans to reach out to state officials about submitting a similar measure that he says will save countless lives.
They're very lightweight security bars. You know, it takes 4 screws or 6 screws to install them. They cost about $20 on online retail or at Home Depot. And so this is a very easy solution. It's accessible. It's right in front of us. And it took legislation like this to require it of our landlords.
The Kenedy family say they are honored to have this law named after Ezekiel, and they are grateful to the council for making this a safer place for children.
Great day in Gaithersburg.
That's right. Indeed it was. Local officials were joined by Maryland Governor Larry Hogan
Very impressive. Exciting.
for the unveiling of the new global headquarters for the rapidly growing biotech firm Novavax.
Go Gaithersburg. We're a Gaithersburg, huh? So we've gotten to here very fast, and that's because everybody's cooperated. Everybody wants to see this happen. And you know, things can go slowly or fast. We're in a pandemic. We have to go fast.
In January of last year, Novavax began working on a vaccine for the COVID-19 virus after receiving money from the federal government's Operation Warp Speed program. The vaccine is currently in a phase 3 trial. At this new global campus, Novavax will be developing next-generation vaccines for infectious diseases.
Novavax is just a shining example of that innovation in the middle of a global crisis, that they're focused on something that everybody in the world needs and that they've had such success. I'm just very thrilled that they're a Maryland company, that they chose to stay here in Gaithersburg and Montgomery County to grow, not only with this first building that we just toured, but with all of these buildings behind me.
With this expansion comes 500 new local jobs. Novavax has been headquartered here in Montgomery County for 25 years. This locally grown company is committed to their future here in the heart of the biotech corridor.
You know, behind this is all great jobs, allowing people to have a good living and doing life-saving work. So what's better than that?
The council has approved a measure that would require the replacement of indoor mercury service regulators in all multifamily dwelling units built before 1968.
There are hundreds of these in our metro area.
The bill was introduced by Council President Tom Hooker in response to the deadly explosion at the Flower Branch Apartments in 2016, where 7 people lost their lives.
And I heard it that night and went there and spent the whole night with the families and the first responders and have continued to stay involved in that.
3 years after the accident, the National Transportation Safety Board found the explosion was caused by an indoor mercury service regulator that was not properly ventilated. Under this new law, Washington Gas must survey properties within 3 years of the order and replace those old regulators. The bill also requires landlords to be involved with the process.
What the bill does is it requires our landlords to report to our housing department the presence of a mercury regulator. They just have to take a picture and send it in. Then the housing department compiles all those and sends those to Washington Gas, so Washington Gas can replace them in an efficient manner. We should meet our responsibility as a county to engage our landlords in reporting these and also to inform tenants. Tenants have a right to know whether they're bearing this risk, and they are in an apartment tonight with a mercury regulator. So that's part of the bill as well.
When we talk about protections and safeguards, it is really important to know that there are 14 states in these United States that currently have anti-LGBTQ legislation proposed.
That if you hurt one member of our family, you hurt every member of our family.
Every single human being is entitled to the same just treatment. Not the same bad treatment, the same just treatment.
So while Montgomery County is open and with the times, so many parts of our country are so far behind.
Our LGBTQ residents have been, of course, disproportionately suffering from health disparities for quite a while. They've also been disproportionately hit by COVID because of higher than average HIV and cancer rates and existing health barriers.
We must stand together on days like today to lift all of our community up, to stand united against hate.
These kinds of celebrations like Pride Month send a signal. It sends a signal especially to our young people that Montgomery County is here for you.
Folks will no longer be silent in the face of homophobia, transphobia, bigotry. In solidarity for all of our LGBTQIA members of our community, to say Happy Pride Month.
It means that Pride Month can't just be in June. It can't just be in recognizing certain events throughout the course of the year. It has to be the way we choose to live.
It took me 40 years to figure out who I was, but once I did, I was able to say, hey, this is who I truly am, and I want to be able to support and continue supporting other transgender people out there.
As parents, as family and friends, we have to make sure that we're taking care of our young people. How they are going to live their lives and who they are going to love, recognizing that's how they were born. We need to be supportive.
But Pride Month is more than just about raising a flag and recognizing that we have done this work and have fought. Pride is about standing in solidarity with all of us.
I personally stand here with the confidence of every butch queen, every drag mother, every house mother that has poured into me, and give them their love and their flowers.
Mauricio, I'm Evan. Nice to see you. Now, where do you go to school?
Northwest.
Awesome. For Pride Month, I wanted there to be a youth engagement. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Councilmember Evan Glass, and as the council's first LGBTQ+ member of the council, one of the things that I want to continue to do here is make sure that everybody feels welcome and safe. So we had a student writing contest, and today we invited all the students who wrote essays and poems to celebrate Pride, to share a little bit about themselves.
I just wanted to share what Pride meant to me.
I thought it was a good opportunity for me to use my words to spread a message.
I wanted to write a poem about how love applies to everyone.
And it's so important for students to see and meet other students throughout this county, to recognize that there are other people just like them, and that we're all working towards a community where there's even more inclusion and even more love for everybody. Sometimes life is difficult, and sometimes we feel out of place, and either we are the recipient of negativity and bullying, or sometimes we see that happening to our friend. If you feel so inclined, if anyone would like to read their entry.
Hi, I'm Nora Lesperance. I'm a rising junior at Albert Einstein High School, and this is my essay about inclusivity at Pride. An LGBTQ+ space within my own head is freeing, but this experience is not replicated in the outside world. Any space promotes inclusivity, even if they do so by boasting a colorful profile photo for a single month. It means that they are obligated to hear and welcome various voices who feel compelled to cry out when they feel lost.
The essays and poems were so incredibly personal. People wrote about their own coming out, their own questioning, the relationship that they have with family members and friends and classmates at school. Some of them were incredibly uplifting and positive, yet others were quite sad.
In the 1960s, the term gay was like a hushed whisper muttered by children who wander through mental asylums at night. That is to say, the term was used as both an insult and a legitimate mental illness to be feared. To me, inclusivity means knowledge. The knowledge of the past and how to do better in the future. The knowledge of the world we live in and how to be respectful of your friends and family members. It means sitting down and having a conversation. It means listening to what others have to say. I ask that you do not...
To see students these days coming out at 13, 14 years old and to be sharing their experiences and their feelings with everybody, it really is something to behold, and it is something that needs to be fostered and celebrated at the same time. The County Council of Montgomery County Certificate of Participation Youth Writers Competition. Your powerful words, shining lights pointing ahead, pushing us forward. And your words give me hope for the future, and so I am proud to share this proclamation with all of you. Awesome. There you go.